Hi, everybody. Basically, the holidays are over, and it's been a fun month, I would say, between Thanksgiving and Christmas and where I am now. So I just wanted to have a little, yap session and just kind of what's been going on with me since I haven't been producing any videos because I'm a regular Cecil B. DeMille here. Anyway, back there, that's what's left of the Christmas decorations are my poinsettias. Yesterday, my husband and I spent the entire day just decorating the house. And as you can see, I have a pimple on my nose, and I really haven't done that much to try to disguise it. I'm not going to try to pop it because being the hypochondriac that I am, I'm afraid that the poison in it will go to my brain and then I won't be around anymore. So I'm just kind of letting it do its thing. But anyway, let me backtrack. We went to Paris for Thanksgiving, and basically the reason that we went was because my children are spread all over. I've got one son who lives in, as Dan Aykroyd said in Trading Places, Los Angeles. Yeah, he lives out in LA. My daughter lives in Cincinnati, and my other son lives in Manhattan. And on Thanksgiving, my son that lives in Manhattan is usually working at the TV station. And my son, it's just not worth it for them to get on a plane and come home when Christmas is my thing. The Frenchman can't stand turkey. He hates turkey. I'm not a fan of turkey, but I'm a pig, so I'll eat anything. So his thing was, why don't we just go to Paris for Thanksgiving? So we did. We went to Paris for Thanksgiving, and we decided that, God willing, we will just turn that into a new tradition for us. Okay, so then we came back. By the way, we had a great time. We had great meals. I tried to do a slideshow, which I totally screwed up, but I'm still working on it so I can share my photos with you. So flash forward to Christmas. What can I say about Christmas? I love when everybody's at the house. Could it be because I'm a control freak, or could it be because I'm a helicopter mom? Yeah, probably a mixture of two. But the thing is, I really miss having my kids around. I don't know how many of you are empty nesters, but I feel more visible and I feel more like a person when my kids are around me. It's so weird because we don't even have to be speaking to each other. One person can be watching TV, another can be on the computer, another can be on the phone, but just knowing that they're there gives me more of a sense of purpose. The Saturday before Christmas, my son Jake flew in from LA, so we picked him up at the airport, which I was really pleasantly surprised. There was no airport traffic. Usually I'm like a dog in heat when I'm at the airport picking somebody up because the traffic at Philly airport is so awful. I mean, Philly airport is horrible when it comes to traffic, but surprisingly the traffic wasn't bad. So that night, my daughter Una and her fiance Sam came over with their dog Gracie. So Chippy had his little cousin Gracie. And the weird thing is that Chippy started showing his age. I never considered him an older dog until he was with Gracie, because Gracie is about 5 months old. And like Chippy, she's a Labradoodle. The two cousins got along fine, but Gracie's got such energy because she is a young dog, and all she wanted to do was play. And Chippy was fine, but he was fine to a point. then it would get to the point where he was like, okay, you know what? Girl, I've had enough of you and I want to go in a corner and just chill. So he would just go, "Wah," and then she would be like, ugh. But she would go away, and then 10 minutes later, she would kind of hang with him, and she started to respect his need to be by himself. So once again, it was great having 2 dogs in the house, because when my kids were younger, we had 2 dogs, but I was also a stay-at-home mom. I work now, so 2 dogs would be a bit of a challenge when both people in the household are working. But anyway, we all sat down to a great dinner of roast duck, which I love, and I made cheesecake, so that was really good. And the rest of the time that they were here, we just had a really good time. You know, it was just great to have the kids running in and out. Like Jake would be at the gym, Una and Sam would be doing their thing. They'd be taking the dogs out for us and stuff. Roman arrived on the next day. He arrived on Sunday. So then having all 3 kids plus my future son-in-law was even better, because the more the merrier. So it was overall a really great Christmas. And naturally, how can I put this? It's really not a Christmas without the drama. So 2 days before Christmas, was it that Sunday or no, I think it was Monday, because yes, Christmas Eve was Monday, and I had to work. But only till 2. So when I came home, there was a text from my stepdaughter saying that my husband told his granddaughter there was no Santa. Now, in my house, this is a mortal sin. I mean, this deserves to go to confession. Yeah. This deserves to go to confession and then have the priest tell you that you need to say 30 Hail Marys, 6 active contritions, the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed, and 65 Our Fathers. That's what a sin telling a kid there's no Santa Claus is. So we were all like, wait a minute, how can you possibly tell a child that there's no Santa Claus? And his explanation was that he was preoccupied because he does drive from our home to her home and drive her to school a couple of times a week. And he happened to drive her to school, and he was more focused on the traffic going in and out of school, while his granddaughter was sitting in the back of the car talking to him about people that believe and people that don't believe, and what do you think, blah, 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 blah. So he turned around and he just said, well, there is no Santa Claus. And we were just all like, you don't do that. Luckily, her mom was able to explain things, and we were able to explain things, so we were able to undo the damage that was done. And for what it's worth, as far as we know, and as far as she's telling us, she does believe. So that's a good thing. I don't think that my husband will ever make that mistake again. I know the French are known to be brutally honest, but sometimes you gotta just let a kid be a kid, okay? So that was the big drama. Now, the other drama, it wasn't really that much drama, but it was pretty funny. Now, I totally get into cooking for Christmas. I made 2 pancakes, I made 3 nougatines, I made cookies galore, I made a ton of biscotti. Like, I really get into it. And as you can see, I did gain a little weight over the holidays, but whatevs, that happens. And for dinner, we had this huge, huge, huge roast beef of like a tenderloin roast beef. It's been a tradition the past, like, I think it's 3 or 4 years. I've been making the Barefoot Contessa's slow roasted tenderloin of beef, which is probably the greatest beef recipe of all time. It's from her foolproof cookbook, and it's just incredible. So I had this huge slab of meat because we had 11 people over for Christmas. Besides my 3 kids, it was my husband's daughter, her husband, their daughter, my ex-husband, and his girlfriend. My ex-husband can be annoying, but I love his girlfriend. So we all had this extended family dinner, and everybody had a great time. But the focus on the food, I always make a huge 2 box of macaroni, 3 cheese, macaroni and cheese. Like, this is cheese and macaroni more than macaroni and cheese. And everybody loves it. I made roasted Brussels sprouts with shallots and cranberries and a really delightful cranberry glaze. And I also had honey glazed carrots that I made and mashed potatoes. So we had this huge, huge dinner. And trust me, when people come over to my house, I have enough food for everybody, okay? Now remember that. I'm saying enough food for everybody. Everybody, okay? So, I brought the meat out to the table first. Then, I proceeded to bring all the other dishes out to the table. I finally sat down to eat. And you have no idea how I was dreaming about this meat, because I am not a vegan. I am a freaking carnivore. When we were in Paris for Thanksgiving dinner, I had steak tartare. That's how much I love red meat. Like, I don't even like it nearly pink. When I say red meat, I mean red meat. Luckily, I trained my family well, because everybody in the family likes their meat red. Not blue-red like me, but at least red. And out of respect for everybody, this meat was red. I mean, it was perfectly cooked. And my mouth, oh my God, I was dreaming about this beef. I was licking my chops the way a dog licks his chops. I was like a freaking dog. I swear, I started saying woof woof instead of Happy Meal to everybody. It's disgusting. I'm like a guy when it comes to meat. In fact, you could put me at a table with 10 of the biggest men out there, and I will out-eat them in steak or any red meat or burger. That's how much I love red meat. So you kind of get the picture of where I'm going here. I took my apron off. I ran upstairs before I sat down, and I put my good hair on because I have cooking hair and I have good hair. The cooking hair is an old budget wig that I really don't care if it gets ruined from all the steam from the oven or anything. So I ran upstairs really quick, put my good hair on, sat down at the table, and looked at that platter of meat, and it was all gone. Like every last morsel. And as I looked around the table, I saw plates that had 3 slices, 4 slices, and people just munching at that meat. Like they were all eating that meat. And everybody turned around and said, oh my God, this meat, this is the best beef that you've made. It turned out perfectly this year. And I got none of it. Like none of it. I didn't get any of that beautiful Christmas meat that I made. My husband looked at me because he had like half a slice left. That's how quickly he ate his meat. He looked at me and then looked at the meat and then looked at me again and looked away. And I said to him, "Can I have just a little taste?" And he gave me the smallest possible morsel you could ever imagine, but it was good. So that was the other Christmas trauma. But next year, now I know, as big as the meat that I got to get a bigger meat. And I have to make sure that I cut some off before I serve it to people so that I have some. But other than that, it was great. We all had a big laugh over the fact that I didn't get to eat any of the meat that I made. But everything else was great. The macaroni and cheese was good. The Brussels sprouts that I love so much, I had those. And our dessert was my most requested dessert. Again, another Barefoot Contessa recipe. It was her French nougatine recipe. It's kind of like ice cream, but it's not. It's really good. And thank God I made 3 of them because those were gobbled up like crazy. And that was basically it. We had a really, really good Christmas. The day after, unfortunately, Una and Sam had to drive back to Cincinnati because they had a wedding to go to and family obligations on his side of the family. My son Jake had to fly back to Los Angeles due to work commitments. So I was lucky enough to have Roman here for a couple of days. Roman left on Friday afternoon. So I was really lucky to have him hanging around with me for a while. And Roman and I took my step-granddaughter, Sophie, to see Mary Poppins Returns, which I have to say, I went into that movie with a chip on my shoulder because as far as I'm concerned, the only Mary Poppins is Julie Andrews. I still know every single song from the original Mary Poppins. Like nobody could compare with my Julie Andrews, and all I could think of was, the girl on the train is Mary Poppins. The one from The Devil Wears Prada who only ate a grape a day is Mary Poppins. But when we went into that movie, I was blown away at how great Emily Blunt is as Mary Poppins. And oh my God, that girl can sing. She's a freaking great singer. I was shocked. She put a whole different spin on Mary Poppins, where Julie Andrews was really sweet and you just fell in love with her in an instant. Emily Blunt was a more stern and a little bit of a more distant Mary Poppins, but nonetheless, she was lovable. But I'll tell you, I was really blown away. And at the end of the movie, I was crying like a baby because it brought back so many great memories of when I saw Mary Poppins. And Sophie turned around to me and was like, "Kathy, why are you crying?" Out of the mouths of babes. That's all I can say. Out of the mouths of babes. She's a good kid, and I always have a good time with her. So we hung around for the afternoon, dropped her home, and we just had a really good time. And when Roman left, I'm gonna get all misty-eyed now. When Roman left, I felt really empty. I felt empty because all of my kids were gone. And I'll tell you the truth, I felt invisible. I don't know. Sometimes I hear people saying, "I can't wait till my children are all grown." My mother said that practically every day. And after I had kids, honestly, I never thought that. Even on those days where they were driving me nuts. I never had that thought that I can't wait till they're all grown because, I really enjoyed my time with them when they were younger. I wasn't the perfect mother because I didn't believe in banned books or censorship. I allowed them to play video games as long as their grades were, as long as they had good grades, they could play video games. They were very active, so I really didn't have to worry about them sitting in front of a TV set all day. I just, I really had a good time with them. And then, they were just always my purpose in life. And when Roman left, and it was the last of my kids to leave, it just gave me this really, really bad flush of sadness. I don't like when my kids leave. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm getting older and my time here is limited, but I wish that they lived closer. I wish that I saw them more. But in this day and age, we can still text, and I do talk to Una practically every day, so that's a good thing. But just coming from me, I really miss when the house is empty. And yesterday, I put myself to work by cleaning up every single Christmas decoration that was out. We got rid of the tree, and once again, I was like, oh, next year we're getting a fake tree, because the cleanup from the real tree is really a pain in the neck. There's pine needles everywhere. But then after vacuuming everything, and when everything was put in its proper place, my husband said, so you really want to get a thick tree next year? And I was like, no, I want to keep getting a real tree no matter how angry I get at the cleanup. So now everything is back to normal, and tomorrow evening is New Year's Eve, which is not my favorite night of the year. I like to sleep through it because I'm really bad. I'm really, really, really bad at making resolutions. So instead, I just make tries. I try to do things better each year. And a lot of times I fail. I'll try not to be as much of a hypochondriac as I usually am. That usually goes out the window too. So I have no resolutions. My goal is just to try to be a better person, and that's it. So whatever you do for New Year's, have a great time, and I'll see you next year. Bye.